But we're gonna start out in a seated position. Any seat, you can come to a cross-legged seat, or you can maybe sit on your knees, back on your feet, whatever feels comfortable. And we'll start out by chanting Om together 3 times, getting settled in, shifting our energy. So go ahead and exhale out all existing air. Take a nice deep breath in. Two more just like that. And one more. Continue your long, deep breaths. Maybe early in practice, starting that Ujjayi breath, the breath of yoga that will carry us from pose to pose and help us keep our energy and focus today. We make that type of breath by creating a constriction in the back of your throat, so you sound like you're making ocean waves on the inhale, and also on the exhale. With your next inhale, bring arms up overhead, palms pressed together. And as you exhale, bring the right hand down to the mat, left hand reaches up and over. Stay long through both sides of the body, reaching up and out. Come back to center and then bring the right hand or the left hand down to the mat. And start to reach up and away. Starting to move with your breath. Inhale, both arms up, and exhale over to the right. Inhale to center, exhale left. Inhale center, and to the right. Inhale to center and left. Take one more each side. Moving it with that warm Ujjayi pranayama. And when you get back to the center, bring your hands towards your heart and we'll come onto our backs. Right away, bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall wide, and press the soles of your feet into one another. So that even if you lift them up off the mat, they're sort of stuck together like glue, and you can probably feel that engagement in your feet. Then take your hands, clasp them overhead, but leave out the pointer finger and thumb. This is called Kali Mudra. Mudra is a hand position. And point Kali Mudra, your arrow, right up towards the ceiling. We're going to take some crunches. So lift your arrow closer to the ceiling, but make sure it lifts up. Your gaze stays with it, so your chin points up as well. You don't want it pointing forward. You want it lifting up. Go ahead and release down. Keep the engagement of the feet pressing together and lift up. Release down, lift up again. Release it down. Take 2 more. Now, keeping that engagement of the feet, lift them up off the earth about 6 inches and continue pointing your arrow up towards the ceiling. Make sure that you breathe. You don't want to hold your breath. Warming up the core early in practice will help us stay supported throughout. Take 3 more. Release down, release the feet down. Arms can come overhead into the same shape. And then release your legs out long. Bring your palms face up at your sides. Lift your palms towards the ceiling and then lift your shoulders and your head up off the mat. Keep your chin kind of pointing up and out rather than tucked right at your chest. Then lift your feet about 6 inches off the mat and we're in this low boat pose. Make sure to stay with your breath. That's the power of the pose. And then lift up to a boat pose. Take any adjustments that you want here. You can maybe bring the knees a little closer to the chest. Maybe work the legs towards straight. This isn't quite enough for you. I know it is for me, but you can lift the arms up overhead. 2 more breaths here. Hug your knees in towards your chest, curl around your knees. And then roll back a couple of times. Gather a little bit of momentum. And then cross your feet, roll up into a tabletop position. Shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees. Maybe give a couple little kicks at the top of the feet. Gaze out long on your mat. Hug the belly up and in. And then drop your belly, gaze high, hips high for cow pose. And press the mat away, curl the spine for cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cat. Take a few more. Maybe you want to add on a little side to side, wag of the tail. A little more forward and back movement, just warming up the spine, warming up the joints. Starting to move and feel a little looser. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your knees an inch above the mat. Pause there, take a breath. And then lift your hips, press back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out your feet. Sway your hips side to side. Take whatever movement feels good in this very first down dog of the practice. Step your feet as wide as the mat. Shift your hips all the way to the right side. And then all the way to the left. And then wag your tail side to side a bit, all the way to the right. And the left, one more time. Bring your feet back to center. Walk them in about 1 footprint. And then reach with the right hand underneath the body to the left ankle or shin. You can gaze under your left arm. Getting a little twist, building a little heat here. Release the hand back to the mat. And then take the left hand to the right ankle or shin. Gaze under the right arm. Left hand comes back to the mat. Walk your feet back to your full downward facing dog and pause here for a couple rounds of breath. Maybe you re-engage the palms into the mat, the belly up towards the spine. Re-engage the breath. Then start to walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Stay here in a ragdoll pose. Hands come to opposite elbows. Get a nice deep sway side to side. Come back to center, stay in your fold. Clasp your hands at the small of your back and lift them up and overhead. 2 days in the car has left me awfully creaky and sore. Release hands down to the mat. Take a halfway lift. Flat back, belly hugs up and in. Crown of the head reaches out in front of you. Release all the way down and come back up, half lift. And release. One more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, heel toe your feet together and come all the way up to standing mountain pose. Arms sweep up overhead. Ground down through the feet. Lift, become tall. Then draw hands to heart center. Maybe you close your eyes and shift your weight from heel to toe. Starting to notice your balance. And then come to stillness. Open your eyes, bring hands down to your sides. Arms sweep up overhead, mountain pose. On the exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. As you exhale, keep the right foot where it is. Plant your hands and step the left foot back so you're in a lunge. Drop your back knee to the mat. You can either leave your toes tucked under or you can untuck them and come to the top of your foot. Then reach arms up high. Sort of engage through your front foot and then come a little deeper, getting a nice stretch in the left hip flexor. Hold on to the left wrist with the right hand and tilt over to the right. Come back to center, plant your hands, tuck the back toes, step the right foot back, high plank. Pause here for a breath. Find length and strength as you reach the crown of your head forward, heels towards the back of the space, belly hugs in. Lower halfway down or all the way for chaturanga. Flip to the tops of your feet. Roll up. Upward facing dog, shoulders reach back. And then lift the hips. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, travel to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Keep the left foot where it is. Bring your hands to the mat. Step the right foot back. Drop the back knee. Tuck the toes or keep them untucked or tucked. Either way, reach the arms high. Engage up, press through the left foot, then sink a little deeper. Hold on to the right wrist with the left hand. Take that side bend over to the left. Release down, hands to the mat, tuck the back toes, step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale here. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, right foot stays where it is. Step the left foot back, drop the knee, rise for your lunge. Hands frame your front foot, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step the right foot back, drop the back knee, rise. Then frame the front foot, step it back, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Let's do it one more time each side, kind of smoothing out the edges, moving with the breath. Inhale, exhale to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Right foot stays, lunge back with the left. Rise for your lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, right foot steps back, lower the knee, rise. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, full rounded breath. With your next inhale, gaze to the top of the mat, travel feet to meet your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Rise to mountain pose. Step your feet hips width apart. Then sink back to chair pose. So we're making it a little bit easier on the joints so that we can come a little deeper. So don't worry, we're not cheating here. Bring your low belly towards your spine, arms reach high, gaze out in front of you, find a drishti, a focal point. Come back to your breath. Maybe like me, your focal point is a giant photo of your father-in-law, but hopefully not. Mine is though. Sink the hips just a little lower. You thought I was gonna say come out, didn't you? How about 2 more breaths here in this nice low chair? Come back up, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, hover and hold. Inhale it back out long. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, back out long. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, back out long. Step through between your hands, come up to warrior 2. Back foot spins flat, rise. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, rooting down to the outside edge of that left foot. Deep bend in the right knee, working the knee toward the outside edge of the right foot. Keeping the hips really open, shoulders nice and open, shoulder blades working towards one another. Gaze out at your father-in-law. Over your right fingertips. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. I couldn't decide whether or not I should take him down. I think I know the answer. Extended side angle, right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Keep that grounding through the outside edge of the left foot. Hug the belly in so that the right arm stays light. And if it's light enough to lift up off that right thigh, send it towards the back of the space. Press down into your feet to lift up. Keep the lower half of the body the same as you reverse your warrior, and you can do the same thing. Send the left hand towards the front of the space. We kind of windmill, that's the word, windmill the arms a little bit. Then cartwheel hands to the top of the mat, step the right foot back, move through your flow, or press right back to downward facing dog. Always that option to skip the chaturanga. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to chest, hover and hold. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, back out. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, back out. Step through between your hands, rise, warrior 2. This time you're grounding down into the outside of the right foot. Let that be your foundation. Work the left knee to the outside, strong shoulders, reach, find that focal point. Extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Rooting into the feet, hugging the belly in, maybe the left hand lifts, Send it in front of you to the back of the space. We windmill the arms as we reverse the warrior. Right arm can reach forward. It's just an option. You don't have to do it. See if it feels good, something new. And cartwheel, hands back down to the mat, step back, take your flow. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high. We're gonna step right through, stay here in a low lunge. Plant your left hand, reach the right arm high. Get a nice low lunge twist. Bring the right hand down to the mat, lift up, crescent lunge. High on the ball of the left foot. Nice deep bend in the right knee. If you're a little wobbly, you can step the kind of heel toe the right foot towards the outside edge of the mat to widen your stance. Let's open to warrior two. Take an inhale. Extended side angle, left arm reaches up and over, right arm towards the back of the space. Reverse it, same setup with the arms. Hands cartwheel to the mat. Take your flow. Or press straight back to down dog. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step through. Plant your right hand and lift to the left. Nice low lunge twist. See if you can work the back of the right knee towards the ceiling so that it straightens the leg a little bit. Bring the left hand down to the mat. Reach up, crescent lunge. Once again, you can widen your stance for balance. You can even bring it a little bit longer if you want to come down deeper into the left knee. Wherever you are, find your breath. Then we'll open to warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale to extended side angle. Left arm to the back of the room. Reverse it, taking that same arm variation if you like it. Cartwheel, hands to the top of the mat. Take your flow. Press back, down dog. Let's flow that whole series, one breath per movement. Starting with our chair pose on the inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, travel feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come up to mountain pose first. Bring your feet hips width apart, then sink it down. Engage your breath, bring the hips a little lower. Maybe one more time, you sink it even lower. One more breath. And forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog, inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step between your hands. Stay here, left hand plants, right arm lifts on the inhale. Exhale, bring the arm down. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Stay here for the inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse it. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step through. Plant the right hand, lift the left. Exhale it down. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, open warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, extended. Inhale, reverse. Chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. One more time, connecting breath to movement. Right leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Left hand plants, right arm lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up crescent lunge. Exhale, open warrior two. Stay here for the inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Right hand plants, left lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, extend it. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll stay here in our down dog for 4 or 5 breaths. So if you want a child's pose or a different shape, please move there now. Wherever you are, reconnect the breath. If you have left your downward facing dog, please return. Once you're there, we'll take a full round of breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, travel forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to mountain pose. Bring the feet hips width apart. Sink it down, chair pose. Sink it down a little lower. Root down into your right foot. Lift the left knee up off the mat, one-legged mountain. Release your hands behind your back. Hold, clasp your hands, roll the shoulders back. Maybe you even gaze up a little bit in your one-legged mountain. And start to reach the left toes towards the back of the space, coming into an airplane pose. Hands are still clasped. Continuing the clasp of the hands, bend the right knee, land the left toes towards the back of the space, crescent lunge. Keeping the clasp, open the legs to warrior two legs. Take that same little gaze up towards the ceiling, heart shines forward, and then fold forward, humble warrior. Arms reach towards the back of the space behind you or up overhead. Let the head hang loose. Notice if your jaw is clenched, release it. Re-engage your breath. Now release the hands, rise, straighten the front foot, coming into a triangle pose. Arms are parallel to the mat. Reach forward, and then reach the right hand down for the shin, the ankle, the mat. Wherever you are, take that same grounding through the feet. Lift through your quads, lift your core, engage belly to spine. Use the core to rise back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Pivot towards the front of the mat for pyramid pose. I like to keep my back heel lifted to keep my stance long. If you prefer, you can step your back foot in a little more stability with both feet flat on the mat. Wherever you are, reach arms up overhead. Hug the belly in towards your spine and then start to hinge forward, reaching forward. Challenge your balance a little bit, build a little strength. Then release hands to frame your front foot, hang over the right knee, pyramid pose, getting a nice stretch of the left hamstring. If you need a little more, you can even lift the toes up off the mat. Bend the front knee, hands plant, step the right foot back. Let's pause here for a side plank on the right side. Right hand stays where it is. Roll to the outside edge of the right foot, left hand lifts. Hips rise. For a little support, you can bring the right knee to the mat. Wherever you are for a little extra, you can lift the left leg off the mat. You can also reach the left arm up overhead. If you've taken any of those variations, come back to your regular old side plank. Bring the left hand down to the mat and take your flow or press directly back to downward facing dog. Let's take that on the other side. Inhale. Exhale, top of the mat. Half lift on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up, mountain pose. Feet hips width apart. Sink the hips nice and low. How about a little lower still? Weight comes to the left foot. Lift the right knee up off the mat. One-legged mountain. Clasp hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders back. Gaze up. And start to reach the right leg long behind you, finding your airplane pose with bound arms. One more breath here. Keep the arms, bend the left knee, reach the right toes back, crescent lunge. Still keeping the arms open to warrior two legs. Gaze up, chest outward. Fold forward, humble warrior. Stay with the breath. Press down into your feet to lift yourself up. Release the hands, straighten the front knee. Triangle pose, reach forward first. Engage through your foundation, the feet, the legs, the core. Find strength here in your triangle pose. Use your core to lift you up, bring hands to your hips. Pivot towards the front of the space, staying on the ball of the right foot or bringing the right foot in a little bit. Left foot is straight, or left knee is straight. Arms reach up overhead, engage the core first. We gotta protect our low back in this position, reach forward. Then fold over the left leg. Bend your left knee, plant your hands on the mat, step back to high plank, side plank on the left. Keep the left hand where it is. Roll to the outside edge of the left foot. Raise the right arm up towards the ceiling. Left knee can come down to the mat for support. Maybe the right foot floats. Maybe the right arm reaches up overhead. Come back to your side plank, whichever variation you took. Right hand to the mat, take your flow. Or press back, downward facing dog, full round of breath. With your next inhale, gaze to the top of the mat, travel feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, separate your feet, hips width apart. Chair pose. Moving to eagle pose. Arms come out in front of you, palms face up. Wrap the left arm underneath the right. Backs of the hands can come together or the palms. If you want, you can also just grab opposite shoulders. Bring weight to the right foot. Lift the left leg up and over. Stay low. The lower your center of gravity, the easier it is to balance. Bring your elbows out in space towards the front of the mat and lift them a little bit higher, creating nice open space through your shoulder blades. Keep the arm variation. Unwind the legs. Coming into airplane pose with eagle arms. Bend the right knee, keep the arms, reach the left toes back, crescent lunge, still with eagle arms, open to warrior two legs, then come forward, humble warrior with eagle arms. Really let the elbows pull down towards the mat with gravity, getting really nice and open through the shoulders. You could also, if you're nice and low, create a little engagement between your right knee and your right shoulder, pushing them into one another. Press down into your feet to lift up. Release the arms, turn to face the side of the mat. Heels are in, toes are out. Sink it down, goddess pose. I totally am stealing this from Erica this morning, but I thought it was great. We're gonna take a little slow, press through the heels, reach up to 5-pointed star. Come back down, take 2 little pulses. 1, 2, reach long. Sink back down, 3 pulses. 3, 2, 1. Reach up and out, come back down, 4 pulses. 2, 3, 4. Reach it out long. Again, 5 pulses. 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach long. Back to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reach it up. Down for 3, 2, 1, and up. Down for 2, 1, 2, and hold here. Come to the breath. 2 more nice, long, deep breaths. Reach all the way up, 5-pointed star, hands come to your hips. Pivot your feet so they're parallel to the edges of the mat. And we'll take a little forward fold, Prasarita. Nice deep fold over the legs. You can widen the stance or you can bring it a little closer. Release your head down. Stay with your Ujjayi breath, but release your jaw, any tension in the body. Come up to a half lift, flat back. Plant the right hand in the center of the mat under your nose and lift the left arm up for a twist. Bring the left hand back down, reach the right arm up for a twist. Right hand comes back down, pivot to the top of the mat. Step the right foot back, pause here, side plank right. This time you can take a variation if you'd like, making like a little tree pose with your legs. You can bring your left foot towards your thigh or your shin. Just a little something different to try. And then bring the left hand down to the mat, take your flow. Always the option to press straight back to down dog. One more time, inhale here. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Feet come hips width apart. Lower to chair pose. Lower a little more. Bring arms out in front of you. Palms face up. Eagle pose. Right arm goes underneath the left. Right leg comes up and over. Keep the hips sinking low. Bring the elbows out and up to create space between the shoulder blades. Then unwind the right leg, but keep the arms. Kick it back behind you, airplane pose with eagle arms. Bend the left knee, reach the right toes back, crescent lunge with eagle arms. And then open to warrior 2. Keep the arms, fold forward to humble warrior. And let the elbows really pull down with gravity, creating nice open space. You can create that engagement, pressing left shoulder into left knee, knee into shoulder. Release the arms, come all the way back up. Turn to face the side of the mat, goddess pose. Heels are in, toes are out, sink it down. We won't do those pulses this time, we'll stay. Engage your breath. Maybe the hips come a little lower. Maybe a little lower. Maybe a little lower. I won't say it again. You can go lower if you want to. Take 2 more long, deep breaths. Press into the feet, reach out in all directions. Bring feet parallel to the sides of the mat, hands clasped behind you. Let's fold forward for another cross burrito with your hands clasped. And you can shift the clasped hands over to the right and gaze over your left shoulder. Get a little stretch on that side. And over to the left. Gaze over. I think I did the left last time. Whatever side you didn't just do. Gaze over that shoulder. Shift the clasped hands. Come back to center, release the hands down. Take 2 more long, deep breaths here in your prasarita. Come out to a half lift. This time, reach the right hand for the left ankle, shin, or thigh, and lift the left arm up overhead, taking that deeper twist. Bring the left hand back down and bring it over to the right ankle, shin, or thigh, and the right arm reaches up. Come back down to center, pivot to the top of the mat, step back to high plank, side plank on the left. You can take that tree pose variation if you liked it, bringing the right foot to the left ankle or shin or thigh, finding a little tree pose side plank. And release the right hand down. Take your flow or press back to downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. If you're craving a child's pose, bring knees to the mat. Hips can sink back. We'll stay here just a few more breaths. If you've left down dog, please come back. Take a full round of breath once you're there. And with your next inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Bring your right foot to the outside of the right hand, left foot to the outside of the left hand, and sink the hips down into a Malasana Yogi squat. So the hips can come really nice and low, get deep in the hips. Or you can stay lifted a little bit, create a little engagement. Bring the right hand down to the right side and the left arm up overhead for a little twist. Come back to center. Left hand comes out towards the left. Right arm reaches up. Come back to center, lift your heels, and really nice and slow on your toes, start to rise. It's gonna feel shaky, that's okay. Go nice and slow, and then lower heels down to the mat, sweep arms up overhead. Come back down to your low squat to Malasana. Take a breath here, and then we'll move into crow pose, so bringing hands to the mat. A little wider than shoulders width apart. And first just start to bring your weight into your hands. Now if this is where you stay, this is perfectly respectable for today. If you want a little bit more, you can start to bend into the elbows, bring the knees to the upper arms. Gaze out in front of you and let that pull your whole weight forward until the feet become light and maybe one lifts or maybe both. Wherever you are, stay with your Ujjayi breath. That's the power in your practice. When you're ready, release back down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Hinge forward to a high plank pose. And to my count of 5, lower all the way to your belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once you're there, flip to the tops of your feet. Reach the arms forward and lift everything up off the mat for superhero pose. Now this part is really important to breathe. It's easy to hold your breath while your belly is down, but make sure you breathe. One more breath here. Release down, hands can come to your sides, bring one cheek to the mat. Notice your breath pressing into the mat, maybe you notice your heartbeat. Bring the chin back to the mat, flip your palms so they're face down. Press into your feet and first just float the arms, chest, head up off the mat. Engage pressing down into the tops of your feet. Notice the engagement that it causes in your core. And then lift your legs up off the mat, but keep that core engagement. Two more breaths. Release down, bring your other cheek to the mat. If you'd like, you can bend your knees, windshield wiper the legs side to side. Come back to center, chin to the mat, lift back up to locust. We're gonna flow those a little bit. So inhale and bring the arms forward to superhero. Exhale, swim them back to locust. Moving with control, inhale the arms forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And we'll just do this for the rest of practice. Just kidding. How about 2 more? I already lost count. All right, let's lower down. Bend your knees, windshield wiper the feet. We'll come up to Sphinx pose. Make the number 11 with the hands, the arms. And then shine your heart forward. Look up, press into your palms and into your elbows at the same time. There is a little bit of engagement here. It's not a total resting pose. You want to get a little more out of it. From here, tuck your toes under. Bring your weight towards your elbows and your palms and just lift into a forearm plank. Hold here and breathe. Keep the belly lifting up and in to really support this pose. How about 3 more nice long breaths? Release back down into Sphinx pose, and we'll come onto our backs. Once you're there, you can kind of windshield wiper the legs side to side. And then bring your feet to the mat, knees point up towards the ceiling. We're gonna take 1 long bridge pose. So if you like wheel, you can do that. I'm gonna cue for bridge, press down into your heels, lift the hips up off the mat. You can clasp hands underneath you. I also am a big fan of the supported bridge. So if you have a block or a pillow nearby and want to be in this position without all the work, you can slide that underneath you, still get the benefits of those stretches. Stay connected to your long, deep breaths and re-engage the pose by pressing into your feet once again and lifting the hips a little higher. Earlier today, my husband decided he wanted to try 90 seconds of boat pose. So 30 seconds left, I said, why don't you slow your breath so that it's only 4 more breaths to the end. And all that control made it go faster and easier. Breath control really works. Re-engage the pose, stay with the breath. We'll take 3 more nice long ones. With your last exhale, release the hips down. Bring your knees as wide as the mat. Keeping the knees bent. And let both knees fall over to the right side. For a little more, you can bring the right foot on top of the left knee, pulling down, getting a nice stretch through the outside of the left hip, maybe the left IT band. You can reach the arms out towards the sides and gaze over your left shoulder if you'd like. Release the feet to the mat and the knees back towards the ceiling. Bring the knees back, the feet back as wide as the mat, and let both knees fall over to the left. And hook the left foot onto the right knee if you'd like, and gaze over the right shoulder. Release your feet, bring the knees back towards the ceiling. This time, cross the right leg over the left as if you're crossing your legs in a chair. Bring your knees in towards you and see if you can reach for your feet, pulling them back towards you. Giving this nice deep stretch in the hips. You can deepen it even further if you want by pulling the feet away from each other in opposite directions and or hugging the knees closer to your chest. Unwind your feet. Take a little happy baby on the way to the other side. We have a counter stretch to that one, opening the hips in another direction. And bring feet back down to the mat. Cross the left knee over the right. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Reach for your feet. And pull in towards you. And once again, you can deepen by pulling the feet in opposite directions and or bringing knees closer to the chest. Release your feet, unwind the legs, come back to happy baby. Take some deep breaths. Maybe those breaths rock you a little bit side to side. And then find a candlestick pose. Your body comes into an L shape. You can place your hands underneath your hips for more support. Flex your feet, press them up towards the ceiling, and enjoy that feeling of the legs starting to become light. You can also come into a shoulder stand at this point, lifting the lower back up off the mat. Just make sure you keep your hands there for support. If you're in a shoulder stand, you can come out through plow, releasing the feet towards the mat overhead, and then rolling out along the spine. If you're in a candlestick pose, slowly bend the knees, bring feet back down to the mat. Once you're there, just like the beginning of class, feet come together, knees come wide. You can bring arms into the same shape up overhead, or you can bring your hands to your sides. And you can stay here in this pose for Shavasana, or release the legs long on the mat. Wherever you are, take this opportunity to reap the benefits of the work you just did on your body and your mind, allowing both to become still for just a few more minutes, engaging with the breath. If you have more time and would like to stay where you are, please do. If you're ready to move, start with the breath. Take a nice deep inhale and release it out. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. And then roll onto one side. Send yourself some gratitude for coming to this space today. And when you're ready, come up to a seated position. We'll close by chanting Om one last time together. Take a nice deep inhale. Bring hands to heart center. Thank you so much for choosing yoga and sharing it with me tonight. Hands to third eye center, bowing forward. Namaste.